He's like, I don't think it's a sensor. I was like, all right. I talked to you. Like, get a mobile mechanic out there to kind of really diagnose it. So that's what they did. They called a mobile mechanic. Mobile mechanic came out. Engine was blown.
Ooh.
What cars?
Yeah. I came in all ripped up about
I like cars a whole lot more than I like.
Well, do you, Chris? Because here I'm going to jump right into what you said, Kenny. I'm excited about today. Well, I got some stuff to tell people about cars.
I forgot what it was. No, I didn't. You know what I do? I write things down.
You've got a Bible.
I write things.
Damn right.
Well, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about buying a car because I was looking at that Camaro.
Oh, yeah. The
third gen Camaro.
That's right.
And I was like, there's red flags in buying cars.
Red flags on
buying a car, buying a used car. And not necessarily model specific, but in generalized human body language red flags that you can pick up on when you're going to buy a car from somebody.
Would you compare it to playing poker?
I think my poker skills have definitely assisted in that.
Okay. And you communicate a lot at work with execs and minions.
Yeah, all kinds of people.
Right. So that gives you a lot of advantage on asking the right question without the least amount of energy and evasiveness. I mean, you've learned how to interview, your words to me.
Yes.
So with that, it really helps you to get to the point quickly.
Yes.
On a lot of things.
And it's all about, and especially like in poker and in body, anything, everybody is completely unique and everybody is completely different.
Yeah.
And so you have to establish what I call a baseline behavior.
Okay.
For anybody that you meet. Somebody that's very, very calm, very monotone, very, self-disciplined. All right, that's their baseline. Square. They get outside of that, like, what's going on? Now, here's my little spidey senses, or why are they out of that? Now, if you get somebody who's very animated, right? Always talks a lot. Okay, well, I'm still going to get, exactly. I'm still going to have spidey senses because a lot of people do that because they play the shell game, as I call it. Look over here. So I don't really,
take away from this, right?
Yeah, so I'm not going to, especially somebody I don't know, I'm automatically calling bullshit unless I figure it out later.
How did we hook up, man?
Well, because you weren't playing the shell game. And so
you can see that, though, because I'm that.
Because it was nonstop. It never changed.
Yeah.
No matter what you talked about. And I would ask about something else, and you would the same way. Ask about this.
Yeah.
So you have to establish.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to establish that baseline.
It's the difference between having ADD, ADHD, and the shell game.
Yes.
Okay, there's a difference.
Yeah. And so that's all it is.
Yeah.
So whenever you're out there talking to somebody to buy a car, you just establish their behavioral baseline.
Yeah, I'm truly sick. I'm not faking it.
Yeah.
That's great. See, y'all just cost me a therapist. Go ahead.
So, I have a couple of things that, that I wrote down that really, and these aren't even behavioral ones. These are just normal ones. So first off, do some, background research on the car that you are going to look at. And what I mean by go on YouTube, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, hey, look for rust here and look for rust there and make sure you pull engine. There's a million videos on YouTube.
That's right.
That will tell you, hey, 1989 Camaros, look for these problems. So do that. If you're going to look for a 1989 Camaro, go do research on all the issues that 89 Camaros have.
Yeah.
That way, that sets now you have a behavioral baseline. Now you have your car baseline.
Right.
So you know what normal is.
And one of the big things about YouTube, Chris, is that not just looking at that video, but pause it, do whatever. Look at the people that have added stuff because they're commenting on this guy's video. These are the people that either have more questions that you learned from or they have the experience to say, dude, that's not normal rust. They usually don't rust here. That's an excessive rust problem. And
check
now
your
you know,
T-tops.
if you do see rust in that one spot, it's already called excessive rust in an area. So that means it's probably from up north, which you ran into.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So how did you check the car? Just Carfax? Is that the only thing out there to do it to? How do you check the background of a car?
Yeah, Carfax is probably the best, I think.
Is it the only one out there?
That's a good question. That's the only one I use.
It's the only one you know of.
It's the only one I trust, I think.
Kelley Blue Book. They just give you a value. They don't
give you a value. There are other websites that will, tell you the history of a car, but I don't really know that I trust them as much. as I do Carfax.
On classic cars, we would call Hagerty if we were insured with Hagerty. We call them. They have a program inside their own.
Yeah,
insurance
the
group,
classics.
too.
That's for sure. But there's a few things, and you can start off just asking questions. Like, one question I'll ask somebody is, "Hey, can you shoot me the VIN number?" Then, and here, this is all before you show up. Hey, shoot me the VIN number. And then if you get ghosted, all right, they're obviously trying to hide something.
Right.
They don't want to share it because there may be something on that Carfax.
Right.
As much as you love that car, it ain't worth the problems that you're about to encounter. So ask for the VIN, run the Carfax. Yes, it costs money, but you can pull like 4 Carfaxes a year, and I think it's like $80.
Okay, it's not bad.
But don't.
For the consumer, that's not bad. For somebody like me that wanted to, this wholesaler looking for,
Well,
that's a
and
hard
then
way to go.
there's a different for commercials. There's a different plan
Great.
you guys can.
I noticed because I was shopping for my son a car not too long ago, and a lot of dealerships and like smaller places already run the Carfax on those vehicles?
They do.
Because I've noticed like it'll say Carfax blah blah blah.
Yes.
But make sure they give you all the pages.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't get any pages, but it said.
Yeah, make sure you get all the pages.
Wow.
And that's another red flag, right?
Right.
Hey, can you? They'll give you the front page. It's all good. They get little check marks and the little cool fox. And this is part of setting the baseline for the car. Is don't be in a rush for it. Don't be in a rush for it.
Well,
Yeah.
but a lot of people are, Chris, because your engine blows up, and now you've got to find one. You've got to get home to Jersey. So now
what did I tell you earlier?
I forget.
Rent a car.
Oh yeah. You told me.
Right.
If you have to have a car,
Okay.
and you need it in a short amount of time, it is cheaper to pay $200, $300 to rent a car for a few days.
Didn't I just go through a story like a month or two ago about a guy that came and I said, that's a knock, don't drive it. He got to St. Augustine. He was going home to Connecticut. He got to St. Augustine, and that's
Died.
And it died. And at the dealer, he had to put a whole new motor in it. And we could have saved him probably $1,000, $1,500 maybe on it.
So yeah, don't be in a rush. If you need
That's
a
a
car,
huge one.
You need a car. That's fine. Go rent one. If you're under 25 and you can't have your parents rent one, they can put you on as a driver. That $300, $400, $500 can save you $5,000, $6,000. And
Man, yeah.
And I got a story about that. So these red flags hit a little close to home because my oldest daughter, and her husband, my son-in-law, they were just looking out shopping for a car, which is the story I'll tell you here in a bit. And they did. I ran this whole checklist with them.
Yeah.
With the car they're buying, and this is not foolproof, as you'll see in a minute. So the second thing is if the seller will not allow you to take that car to an independent mechanic for an inspection.
That's right.
You
Now,
say,
is that
hey,
something people normally let you do?
They absolutely should.
If they don't,
Okay.
I wouldn't buy a car from them.
and here's the thing.
Okay.
There might be people who are apprehensive, like, oh, I don't want you to drive it over there. That's fine. Can you meet me over here at Dolphin Auto?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fine. Yeah, meet me there. I don't, because I know if I was selling a car, I'm not going to let stranger Susie drive off in my car to
Right.
somewhere I don't know.
Right.
You know.
And I'm your mechanic, and you say to me, hey, I'm looking for a new car. I want to know where you're buying it from. Some places I know and some places I don't. But I want to say to you that I do a pre-purchase inspection, and I will go for $39.95. I'll put your car in the rack. I'm not going to pull the wheels, but I'm going to look at everything really good.
Right.
And I can't tell what the inside of
Check
an
the
alternator
fluids.
looks like.
No, you can't,
I can't
but-
tell what the inside of your transmission looks like without opening up, but I can get a good idea on a lot of stuff. And
You
I
can
do
check
that-
the frame. You can check the suspension. You
all
can,
of it, because stuff is rust underneath it. You can't see. The body looks good. They had that little bit of stuff done. But what I do on mine is that if you don't buy that car for any reason I said or any other reason, I only charge $5 for every car after that you bring in until you find one you
Aw,
buy.
you're sweet.
But this is going
That's a good deal.
to
Yeah.
this is going to the car sales, that if you can't let me take this to my mechanic, there's a problem.
And ask yourself a question. If you're selling a car and you're trying to make 10 grand on a car, for us, I know I would love to make 10 grand real quick, right?
Now, if we're talking classic resto, then okay, you can do it.
I'm just talking about like if I was selling my truck.
Right.
If you're buying anything, it doesn't have to be a classic car. But if you're just selling a car, you want to make $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 selling your car and get it out of your driveway. I can't be hassled with taking it to an inspection. What?
That's someone's
Right.
savings,
Yeah.
Like that's
Right.
their money.
But it also, as me as the seller,
yeah.
it allows me to get rid of this car.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's like, no, I can't be hassled with that. Huge red flag.
Yeah.
If he's going to
Okay.
make thousands of dollars, you tell him you can't be hassled for
Yeah.
thousands of dollars
Yeah.
For an hour, 2 hours.
for an hour of your time. He
Now-
just doesn't want it inspected.
Marketplace, you can rate a seller.
You can.
But some car stores you can only look at reviews, and I guess that pays to do it always too.
But if it's a car store, they're going to allow you to take it to the mechanic.
Well,
They
you'd
should.
be surprised.
Yeah, I know. So get it inspected. Absolutely get it inspected.
We have a mechanic. They look at it. It's fine. You buy a car?
I don't trust that mechanic.
That's what they told us.
Anytime, if you show up and the car is already warmed up, that's kind of a red flag for me.
Okay.
Great one, Chris. Great.
Yeah.
It's
I
already
wouldn't have
hot.
thought of
It's
that.
already warm. Like
Great.
Why? Why is that already warmed up?
Right.
Because it has a hard time starting when it's cold.
cold
That's
start.
right. Because it blows a lot of smoke. Yeah. Because it shakes until it warms
Yep.
up and everything closes
So
back together with a tighter
if-
tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you show up and it's already warm, there may be an honest reason why. They may
Right.
have driven it to you.
Right.
They may have. I don't know. But a lot of times when people are selling cars, they're sitting there.
That's
because they're not
correct.
driving them.
That's correct.
Every day.
That's correct. Now, hey, I just had somebody show up and they just left. Okay. But generally, when you're coming to look at a car, usually it's, hey, I've got somebody else coming, because that's going to make you be, if you really want it, you're going to come faster.
Yep.
You're going to argue less because you really want it. I'm going to get you on that.
No, that's not necessarily a bad thing if it's, or it's not a deal breaker if it's already warmed up.
No.
But it's something. It's a spidey sense. Your spidey sense start tingling there, right?
right.
So if you have your pros and your cons, and like you should be having a whole lot more pros than cons, and you're already on my cons list. Why is this warmed up? You ask the questions.
Yeah.
You're nonchalant. Don't be like, why is this warmed up? Why did you do this to this car? Blah, blah, blah. No, man. Just kind of you put them on. You kind of lull them to sleep.
Right. How about if there's only like 35 or 40,000 miles on the car, but the driver's seat is worn out on the side getting in and out of the car?
That odometer.
That odometer trick, man. A lot of cars
I don't trust that. I don't trust that odometer.
That's right.
No.
That's right.
So, especially a 5-digit odometer. But then you're talking about a classic car and mileage.
right.
Mileage in the classic car, I don't really care about
It's
because I probably don't
irrelevant
trust
almost.
it.
That's right.
I don't trust
That's right.
it.
But even if it is something, I mean, unless you're trying to sell it documented as a low mileage something,
Yeah.
then right.
And here's on the opposite side of when you show up and the car's not already warmed up. What if they don't let your car? They don't want the car idling. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
So what
who
you should do is you should start up, let it run, turn the AC on, turn
Yeah.
everything on, walk around the car, sit there and BS with the guy, talk to the person, blah blah blah, while it's running.
Absolutely. They come
Let it
back
get
from a
up to
test drive,
10.
they shut it off.
Yeah, or they just keep shutting it off. Hey, did you turn that off? I was like, why? I don't have any gas. Oh, let's
Right.
put some gas in it.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give you $10. So let's put gas in it.
They don't want.
Right.
It starts overheating. They don't want you to know that it overheats.
How about that?
Oh, the AC don't get cold. Oh, the AC, it's fine. It blows cool.
Right.
As soon as it's cool, it doesn't work.
That means it's leaking.
It doesn't work.
Right.
So-
Especially in Florida, you don't want cool.
No.
You want
No.
cold.
Nope.
Cold.
Nope.
So yeah, if it's already warmed up, if they don't let you it should just sit there and run, no problem. Because you got to think
Without
if
a
you're at a
doubt.
red light,
Yeah.
So those are a few things, and then here's the big one: when you get statements from the seller, and they're just not adding up.
Like your guy down south.
The guy down south, he's like, oh, it's been in the family, but he's in Florida. The car spent, it's a 40-year-old car and spent 35 years of its life in Ohio.
Right. But none of that was really given forthcoming. You had to do Carfax and find out where stuff was.
Yep.
And he
it didn't
gave
make
it a VIN,
sense.
so he did. But then you
then-
hit him back, and his quick responses were quickly slowing
Yeah,
down.
they stopped. So
Did you ever get a response?
Nope.
So that's a red flag. And
Yeah.
is that car still for sale?
Nope.
Oh.
I don't know if
now-
he sold it or what.
took it down. Right. So you got to test it all. You got
Absolutely.
and that you need it warmed
Absolutely.
up to be able to test the heat.
I mean, yes.
You need it warmed up
Yeah,
to test your
of
fans.
course. Absolutely.
And how about your fans? That there's so many different speed settings that are controlled by the computer based on what it sees from sensors, which is temperature, pressure sensors off the AC to make the fan kick on higher,
Yep.
or maybe there's just a fan designated for condenser. That's another reason to keep it idling. You want to hear it, and when that load comes off the compressor, does the car stall because it needs a tune-up, or it's got a bad wire, or a vacuum leak? I mean, all the things.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we didn't get into a lot of the, check the battery. That's what your pre-purchase inspection is for. They'll check your fluids. And not saying you shouldn't pull the oil dipstick and
Kick
and
the
things.
tires. I mean,
Kick
that's
the
all
tire.
part of it.
Do all that stuff
Right.
Prior to taking it to a pre-purchase. But absolutely take it to a mechanic. So my daughter and my son-in-law,
Yeah.
they have one car.
Your grandson's parents.
Yes, my grandson's parents. So they have one car.
That's
just
it?
one. Just one.
Okay.
They're both in the military. Right now, they're getting by because they're both on the same shift.
Love you guys.
Yes, love you guys. Both on the same shift. Come to find out, they're going to be put on separate shifts, so they need this second car.
Oh, yeah.
They are under contract to buy a house.
Ah.
So going to buy a new car, one, not a smart idea because they're not cheap. Secondly, since you're, for those of you who don't know, don't buy cars or anything on credit when you're under contract to buy a house. It will ruin that ability to buy the house. So they needed a car. I offered to help them buy one.
Okay.
They're in Colorado Springs. They say, I was like, go find a car that you guys like. He wanted a Subaru. He likes Subarus, all-wheel drive, Colorado.
Makes sense.
Good cars.
A lot of people have them.
Yep. So he finds a 2008 Subaru Outback. They live in Colorado Springs. He finds it in Denver. So it's about an hour away.
Okay.
A little over an hour. They go to look at it. I think the car was $4,800. I'm like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
They drive up there. I was like, hey, man, give me the VIN. I'll run the VIN for you. So they didn't have to pay for it. So they shoot me the VIN. Come to find out that it was a salvage title car. Okay.
So that's another one that you really want to mention about as a red flag, because this is for some people that don't know. And if it looks great, runs great, drives great, but has this, what does it mean to a consumer?
Exactly. So normally I am run away from a salvage title car. This is an old car, and so I start looking through it. It was a 2008. It was totaled in 2010. That's when it was totaled. So 15 years ago, it was totaled.
2 years old.
When it was 2 years old, it was totaled, and it got fixed.
Okay.
Went through multiple state inspections after repair, passed all these inspections, and has been driving ever since.
How many miles?
Had 144,000 miles on
So
it.
driven ever since, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it had, I think, 8,000 miles on it when it got totaled. So it's been driving all this time.
Yeah, they didn't skip a beat.
Now, does
8,000.
it tell you why it was totaled?
Yes, it was an accident, where it was at, with the sides and all this. 'Cause
Okay,
it was
so it
like,
gives you
like
all
somebody
the
got
details.
T-boned or whatever
Okay.
it was. So I was like, all right, so I'm not really so concerned about a salvage title now. Save a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a beater car. It's a to and from work car, right? I was like, okay, get a pre-purchase inspection on it. And of course, they're young. They're like, I don't know. I was like, I'll call around and I'll find you a mechanic. Just take it to them. They're okay, yeah. They go to see the car, I think on a Saturday evening or Sunday evening. It was at a dealership, but it's one of those mom and pop dealerships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep, car lot.
Yeah. So not like a Dodge
No.
or a Ford
Yeah.
store. They go look. So the guy actually comes and meets them halfway, I believe. So meets them 30 minutes that way. They go see the car. So it's already warmed up. They kind of run through the list.
Why did he do that? Did he bring somebody in case he got to ride home?
I think it was a Sunday evening. No, because he wasn't selling it that day. He told me, he's like, you have to come back Monday to do the paperwork.
Okay.
So I think he was just trying to help him out. I was like, that way you don't have to come all the way up
Okay.
here because I can't sell it to
All
you
right.
today anyway.
All right.
So they went and saw it. They liked it, which I thought was pretty cool because most salesmen, they don't want you to sleep on it. They want you to buy it now.
Right.
So that was kind of a pro in
And
my
he's
book.
going to drive a half hour out and a half hour back, which tells me he's not afraid to put this thing into gear and going and
Exactly.
getting it.
If he's going to drive for 30 minutes in it,
Got you.
He feels safe.
so I
Yeah,
feel like
that's good.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, because if it's a crap car, I'm not driving in it for 30 minutes.
That's right.
One way and another 30
No.
minutes back. I'm not going to drive an hour in this
Right.
thing.
Now they
so
got badgers. They do, bro.
they got
It's,
mooses up there.
Mooses.
Mooses.
Is that plural? Isn't it just moose?
Man, I think it's moose. Just moose. But
Is
I like
it-
saying mooses
I
is
like
so much more
mooses.
fun. Mooses is more fun. It's funner.
I call one ambulance an ambuli.
An ambuli
Yeah, because it's one singular. An ambulance would be plural.
in the American language is so stupid.
Okay, go on. I could squirrel on that shit all day. All right. So anyway,
They
he
see,
did
they
really
see
good
him
to meet
they
him out
go
there
back Monday
and buy it.
and buy it. So they get there and it's like, hey, can we take it to the mechanic? He's like, absolutely. Sure can.
Okay. Passing all the red
Goes
flags.
to the mechanic. Mechanic's like, they did like a 45-minute hour inspection on it. Mechanic's like, good to go, bro. Yeah, really? Yeah, yep, absolutely. So the guy, because it was salvaged, he took it down, the price down to like $4,200.
What they charge for that inspection?
$125.
I'm doing
Now you're getting
something
your
wrong,
ideas.
bro. I'm doing
$125.
something wrong.
Anyway, so they did the inspection, passed the inspection. I send my daughter the money. I sent her $4,800.
Nice, daddy.
Yeah. And so I sent her $4,800 to buy it. They're driving it for just over a week. They drove all the way home, no issues. He'd been driving it for a week. That was kind of like their primary car. Put miles on the old one versus, my daughter's car, which is newer. Taking it everywhere. Then it just dies on them.
Now, it didn't just die.
It just shut off.
It shook violently.
Yeah, it did a little, and then died at a red light.
And so,
but they got it into a parking lot.
Right. They
Okay.
started it back up and drove it in a parking lot.
Yep.
So we started talking about suspension, rack and pinion, power steer, something happened.
I really didn't think it was a suspension thing. I didn't. You talking about a suspension thing. I didn't think it was. It's like, and we said, is there a check engine light? There was a check engine light, which was like, okay, definitely not. I was like, maybe it's the cats. Catalytic converters, especially older cars,
That's
you get over
right.
150,000 miles.
That's right.
They clog up, and you got to replace them or cut them out. It's up to you. Anyway, they pull the codes.
No comment.
Yeah, they pull the codes. Had something to do with Bank 1 lean. For those you don't know, when you have a car, you have Bank 1, you have Bank 2, side of the motor.
If it's a V engine, if it's inline, then you have bank 1, and then you have an upstream or downstream, which would become sensor number 2.
Yep. But it was saying it was lean. Okay, I'm thinking sensor. My son-in-law's dad goes out there. He's not thinking sensor. So, I'm not there. So my son-in-law's parents live there. He goes and looks at it. He's like, I don't think it's a sensor. I was like, all right. I talked to you. Like, get a mobile mechanic out there to kind of really diagnose it. So that's what they did. They called a mobile mechanic. Mobile mechanic came out. Engine was blown.
Ooh.
How did he figure that out?
I don't know how he figured it out. I never really talked to my son-in-law about it.
I don't know if it's pertinent, but I always like to know. I mean, he pulled the valve cover cap off, and there was a milkshake.
Yeah, I don't know, but he said
He
it
tried
was
to
the
crank it over,
piston.
and it just went gunk, gunk.
The piston was number one piston. I think he said was seized.
Okay.
So the motor's gone. So
Wow.
$4,800.
Owned it for a week. Well, now what are they going to junk it? You're going to junk it?
They got a quote to replace the motor.
Okay. With what type of motor? Used?
Probably.
Okay.
Be my guess after knowing the price.
Yeah.
Guess what the quote was? You're an auto shop.
Well, let's just go with a used engine on a Subaru 08. I'd say that the labor is going to be 11 hours, so you're looking at $1,300 and $1,400 anyway. And then the engine used, I'm going to go with at least a couple grand if it was used. You're $6,500 out the door.
$7,200.
Okay.
$7,200. The car's worth $4,000.
I know.
I laugh because it hurts.
I'm in a similar boat with my son's car. So I sent them out.
Very true.
I sent them out. I gave him money to buy a car. And I was like, oh, this will be a great thing for you and your dad to do together. And neither one of them looked under the hood.
Which
Neither.
isn't Connor's fault.
No, he's 20. So,
He went with an adult.
yeah. And then neither one of them looked under the car.
Which is very rusty.
What kind of car is it?
It's a Jeep Liberty, which I did not know that those
That's
typically.
a red flag for me right there.
That's a Jeep Liberty. So I didn't know that.
And I said, I'm so sorry. I
That's
said
what
they're not
Tiana
good
told
cars.
me.
They're not good cars.
And I had no idea. So, like, listening to your red flag list, I'm like,
She was checking them off one by one by one.
I'm like, we hit all of them, guys.
Bingo! Bingo!
Did
Okay.
I win something?
So is it a good car?
No, so the first time he was like, Mom, something's leaking. I opened, female here, don't know anything about cars.
That's all
I
good.
do now,
Yeah.
but I opened, it was what, my second week here?
Yeah.
Opened the hood and I was like, what's this hole? What's this hole?
It was
These
the
aren't
ra-
supposed
that
to
was-
be here.
It was the radiator,
The
right?
radiator.
Had a big old crack in it.
And
Yeah.
it was obvious enough to
Oh, it
me
was broke.
as someone who has not looked at an engine
Yeah.
or at a,
Now,
yeah.
what year is this, Liberty?
2002,
How many miles?
140,000.
And what was the sale price?
I think like 4,500 plus taxes and tags.
I would have paid $2,000 for that.
Two grand.
Yeah, so I'm not happy.
I'm really, really unhappy.
I'm really sad about that because that was, this is his first. Well, actually, this is his second vehicle. His other one was a Lincoln, and it caught fire just down the street. So we're having really bad luck. Really bad luck.
Yeah.
But and instead of renting a car like you suggested, because I was like, oh, I don't have $400, I bought the parts. And
Well,
take
it
your
needs ball joints, but it's already needed a radiator, and it's got rust, and it's like, how long is it going to last, and how long is it going to be good for? What do you know? And
then these are there's
it's a lot.
no steadfast rules, I guess you would say, or guidelines to follow.
no.
You make the best decision you can when you can.
But here again, it goes back to Chris's very first thing. Don't rush it.